Hey, what's happening, my collie friends? Paul here with Collie Center. Hey, let's do a little bit of training together. For those that are looking to improve their flow in their collie, I got a couple great beginner drills that I want to share with you. I like teaching these to my beginner students when we're starting to develop the carenza or the solitary free flow, the saya, the dance. And I figure that in this video, I want to give you some of the beginner drills. And then make sure you're subscribed. Make sure to hit that bell to turn on post notifications, because in my next video that will be coming up in like a day or two, I'm also going to give you some more of advanced skills that you can start putting into your carenza flow as well. So let's start off with some of the basics. Grab a collie stick or anything that you can find laying around, even if it's just some random stick off the ground. You don't need anything special to get your training started. But if you do want a pair of collie sticks, head over to colliecenter.com. Check out our store at Trigonal Gear. We got great sticks over there that come with a complimentary sleeve bag and all that good stuff. All right, let's get on to the training. All right, let me go ahead and flip my hat backwards. That way I got that collie power going through my body here. So when it comes to beginning your flow, your free flow, I like beginning with these 5 simple drills, and then you can use these 5 drills to build your flow, because it's going to hit all your different angles and you can do a lot just out of these 5 drills. So the first one that we have, this is called the X pattern, or basically striking our angle 1 and our angle 2. And we're just going to come down on this X right here, make a big X in front of your body. Now, when you're working with these 5 drills here, these 5 basic drills, just get your X moving here real quick while I'm continuing to explain. But we have what's called a full arc strike. This is the full potential strike that starts from the chamber position and then strikes all the way. Some people like these, some people don't. Some people are like, that's too big, swinging way too wide. And some people just want it to be really, really, really tight. Look, there's a place for both. For full arc strikes, you're going to have more speed, more power with these strikes. But I also want you to practice all 5 of these where you're going to tighten it up as well. And just for a little bonus, you have 3 main techniques when it comes to your strikes. And the techniques follow your joints. So you have what's called the shoulder strikes. And this is the basic, where the strike is initiating out of the shoulder. Then you have what's called your elbow strikes, where the strike, the manipulation is initiating mostly out of the elbow. And then you have your wrist cuts, where the strike is initiating out of the wrist. This is going to be fastest but weakest. And your shoulder is going to be slowest but most power. And I want you to practice all of that and kind of experiment and figure it out with each one of these drills. So otherwise, if you want to, usually the beginners, I just have them working off the shoulder cuts, the shoulder strikes. But for my friends out there all over the world, feel free to play around with your different striking techniques there. Shoulder, elbow, and wrist. And that moves us into the second drill, which is our upward figure 8 now. We're going to strike up on the angle 3 and up on the angle 4. Right here. Okay. So this is beginner drill number 2. I like starting people off with as we are beginning your free flowing. The free flow, or the carenza, is really important. It's a really important exercise and drill in the art of collie. Being able to move freely your weapon, your body, in coordination, in calibration between the footwork and the weapon, and being able to move freely from any angle into whatever angle is really an important part of collie. Being able to pick up the flow, pick up the fight from anywhere you are. You can even come up into your wrist cuts, what we call the horada, or just keep it on your shoulder for now. Okay. The third drill is our plus, and this is where we're going to be working our horizontal and our vertical strikes. Horizontal and vertical. So the first 2 covered our diagonals, descending and ascending. And the third drill covers the other angles, horizontal and vertical, on the forehand to backhand backhand to forehand. Okay. But make sure you stick around, because I'm going to show you what else you can do at the end of this video with all of these drills in addition to these basics. So you're not going to want to miss that if improving your collie flow is one of your goals. Now, check it out. We can isolate the horizontals. So one of the cool things about the plus drill is that we can just take the horizontals, and I can strike them high, right across the face. I can strike them to the midline, right across the elbows, floating ribs, or down to the low line, striking right at the knees of the opponent. I can also isolate the vertical on the backhand side, or I can isolate the vertical on the forehand side for a little bit, or put them together into the plus. So a lot of really cool little variations that you can work just with the plus there. Okay. Brings us into our fourth drill, which is our redondos. Now, we kind of touched base on that a little bit in the plus. If you start breaking it apart, right here on the vertical, this is technically a redondo, because redondo is just a repeating motion, right? That's going to repeat itself over and over and over. It's a circular motion. Okay, so this would be the forehand vertical redondo here. And you can do them small where the tip stays in front of the body. You can do them large where the tip goes behind the body. You can strike from the shoulder. You can strike from the elbow. You can even strike from the wrist. Okay? So even these little exercises that we do in our training, our little warm-ups, those become strikes as well. But the redondo that I'm talking about here is just making full circles with the weapon. So the drill I like to do is coming around the head on the horizontal, or you can strike it on the diagonal, and we hit the forehand side just like this, and then the backhand side as well, striking it on the horizontal, or you can strike this also on the diagonal as well. Okay, boom, bam. So just working a couple of circles here, and then you could also do your half circles, almost like parentheses here. Okay, but basically, just work your circles. You can do your vertical circles. I know we kind of did that on the last drill. Kind of gave you a little extra jump forward there. You can even keep them small on the diagonal. You can keep them small on the horizontal. Okay, just kind of play around with all these different circles that you can make with your weapon. And then the fifth and final of our basic beginner drills to improve our collie flow is our thrusts, or the dots. And basically, you're gonna poke your thrusts out there. Yeah, you have your center line thrust, your backhand thrust, and your forehand thrust. Okay, and these can go to different targets. Anything on the center line, anything off of the backhand, anything off of the forehand. Okay, and if you can thrust with the tip of the weapon, I want you to think here, what else can you thrust with? The puño of the weapon, right? You can also hit with the puño end of the weapon. So thrust the center, thrust the backhand, thrust the forehand, puño to the center, puño the backhand, and then puño strike to the forehand side. So you're just working on your thrusts here. Now you can poke your thrust just like this, kind of jab them out, or you can come all the way through fluid like this. Okay. So just play around with your different thrusts, making a whole bunch of different dots. Okay, so once you have those 5 basic drills down, this is where the fun begins, and this is where we can start really building the flow. You do want to make sure you're isolating, at least in the beginning, each one of those 5 drills. It's really important that you're doing that for your first month working this stuff. But the real meat here is that now you have 5 different types of movement that you could work through to start building your free flow. So we can start off with our downward X's and move directly into our upward figure eights, into the plus, into some circles, and then into some thrusts, and then start over again. Okay? And one of the fun things that you can start to do is, if you're training with a partner, or you got, you know, the wife or the kids or the husband around, whoever, you can have them call out the different 5 drills. All right, so if we're doing this together, let's do a quick round here together just for like a minute or so. I'm gonna call the round, and then you just do the response of what I call. So we're gonna start off with our X strikes. So we're gonna start moving on our X strikes. And I'm gonna call them out pretty frequently here. So we're gonna go into our plus, into the figure 8, upward strikes, into our thrusts. And you wanna make these transitions as quickly as you can. Into the figure 8, upwards. Into our circles. Just find a spot to make some circles here. You can change the direction of them. Into the plus. Into our X. And if you make a mistake, that's fine. Just remember the drill that you're on and try to find your way there. Just try to fix it. Okay, dots or thrusts. Upward figure 8s. Plus. Circles. X. Plus. Dots. Circles. X. Upward 8s. Back down to X. Plus. Dots. Circles. Upward 8s. Dots. X. Plus. X. Upward 8s. X. And circles. Alrighty, right there. So there's some great beginner movements that you can start working to start building your free flow in your Kali, your Carenza, your Saya. Another thing that you can start adding in is your different energies. We have 3 different energies when we strike. Okay, we have what's called a fluid strike, which is where we strike all the way through the center line from one side of the body to the other side of the body. Pretty much what we've been doing all the way up to this point. We then have what's called the broken strikes, where we strike to the center line and then retract back to the original starting point of the body. Okay, so we can still work all of that exact same angles. Same thing. And then the third energy is our circular strikes, as we touched on a little bit there, where we are coming all the way through. It's basically a fluid because you are crossing the center line, but you're coming back to the original side that the strike initiated from. That's the difference between the circular and then the fluid right there. So while you're working on these particular drills and movements, building your Carenza flow, you can also start plugging in these different energies. So as we say X strikes, okay, you don't always have to stay on the fluids anymore. You could also go into a broken there. Broken and then fluid. Broken, broken, right? So you can come out or just stay on your brokens here because it's still an X. It's still downward angle 2. Okay? Or on your upwards, right, you can hit that broken 4 right there. Okay? A broken 3. On your plus, you can hit the broken horizontal and then come back down on the vertical forehand side. So it doesn't always have to go fluid forehand to backhand vertical. I can go broken forehand to forehand vertical, or go broken on the vertical there as well. Okay, so that's gonna set you up as you're playing around with these movements. That's gonna set you up for the next video when we start working some of the advanced stuff, because we're gonna be playing around with some of these different energies with some more advanced manipulations. If you enjoyed this type of training with me here on the YouTube channel for free, then you can really pick up your Collie training and take it to the next level if you head over to colliecenter.com. Over there, you can purchase any of my online training courses or my DVD downloads. I have a whole bunch of great training that goes further in depth into the different skills of Collie that I don't share here on the YouTube channel, that is in my training courses. Also, be sure to keep an eye on my upcoming training camps and seminars. I might be coming somewhere relatively in your area, and then you can come on out, join me for some in-person, face-to-face, real Collie action and training, my friend. I'd love to meet you and swing sticks with you and train with you, get a good workout in and have fun, tell some good jokes, all that good stuff. All right, I'll catch you over at colliecenter.com, and or I'll catch you back here next time.